What's up guys, it's Matt Collins-Jones here, also known as D365 Geek, and today we're talking about Power Automate, we're talking about expressions, and we're going to talk about the greater or equals function in the logical functions group. So greater or equals is a lot like less or equals that we covered in a previous video, and it's also a lot like greater. So all it is doing is it's going to compare a value that you're passing in to another value and see if it is greater than or equal to that value. If it is, it will return a true value. If it isn't, it will return a false value. So it can be used for conditional logic and conditional branching depending on an output. So maybe you want to count up the number of, let's say, open opportunities in on an account in D365 or in CDS, and if that number is greater than 5, maybe you want to send an alert to an MD or a director to say this account has a lot of open opportunities. Maybe you want to add a bit more time, a bit more effort into chasing these prospects. Else you just don't want to bother the director at this point or the sales manager. So that's a real world example of what this could be used for. But as always, I'd like to know what you use these for in the comments down below. But let's take a look at this first. So we're in Power Automate here. We've got a manual trigger flow here, and we've got a couple of inputs, a text input and a number input. We're going to ignore the text input for now. We're just going to concentrate on the number input, because this is a logical number function. I've also got two compose actions as well. So we'll click into the first compose and we will scroll down a little bit. We'll click over to expression. We'll scroll down to logical functions and we will go to greater or equals. So greater or equals, and we can again see we've just got two parameters, the value and the compare to value. So returns true if the first value is greater or equals than the second value. So in here we're going to click back to dynamic content, we're going to choose number, we're going to put a comma in there, and then we'll choose the number 5. Yeah. So again, we aren't putting the 5 in single quotation marks like we usually do, because we want to treat this as a number and not as a string, and if you put a single quotation mark around it, it will treat it as a string. So we're saying that if the number that we're putting into the manual trigger is greater or equal to number 5, it will return a true value, else it will return a false value. And we're just going to do the same thing again in the second compose box. So I'm just going to type in greater, choose greater or equals. This is one of my favorite things about Microsoft Power Automate, is that as soon as you put in a single parentheses, it'll automatically add the second one in. It's very useful. Same thing with quotation marks as well. So greater or equals, we'll choose the dynamic content again, we'll choose the number, and this time we'll choose the number 99. Again, no single quotation marks around it, and we're good to go. So we'll choose test, and we'll save and test. And then the number that we're going to put in, we're going to choose the number 5. So 5 should equal the first value that we put into the first compose action, but it won't. It's going to be less than the second compose action. So I'll click run flow, click OK, and we can see that the first one returns true and the second one returns false. So that number that we put in, the number 5, that equaled this action, so it wasn't greater than, but it was equal to. And in the second one, where we were comparing it to number 99, that was actually less than that value, so that returned a false. So again, really useful, a lot of use cases for this. As I said at the start, I'd like to know what you guys use this for. Let me know down in the comments. As always, if you can like and share this video if you found it useful, it's always appreciated. If you've not subscribed to my YouTube channel, you should. There's loads of videos, near daily videos at the moment, on all things Power Automate and Power Platform. So check that out. And yeah, I'll see you next time.